Sweet. We're live. Awesome deal. We're live on both Instagram and YouTube. Guys, we need as many people as possible to see this. Trump has been removed from the ballot here in the state of Maine. On the Instagram live, I just read the 14th Amendment. It clearly says what the people in Maine and Colorado, the radical Democrats, are trying to get Trump on. But guess what? It wasn't an armed insurrection. It wasn't that at all. So guess what? They don't have any legal grounds to stand on. And it's ironic that Trump was removed the exact same day that he was put back on the ballot in Colorado. I do not understand how people can't see through this. If you look at just what the media spoon feeds you, okay, of course, you're going to think it was some terrible armed insurrection. It was the worst day in American history. Like, everything was terrible. The country went to hell on January 6, 2021. Guess what? It didn't. If you still believe that lie from the mainstream media, you are blind. And I encourage you, take off your blinders and look. Do your own research. Look at the footage that was released on Tucker Carlson's show. Look at the footage that has been released since then. It is a clear message coming from the people that aren't lying to you that guess what? It was not an armed insurrection. There were people that didn't act with professional conduct. I agree. But was it an armed insurrection? No. The only person that died that day was one of those people who wasn't acting professionally. She's killed by a trigger-happy cop. As far as I'm concerned, the cop should have just stopped her. But he decided to shoot her. I don't quite understand that. Was it an armed insurrection? No. Far from it. If you can't see that, you are blind. Wake up, people. Wake up. It's as simple as that. Trump 2024. Like I already said, I was a huge DeSantis supporter. I love DeSantis. Still love him to this day. I think, quite frankly, he is... I don't know. I think in terms of preference, he's about even with Trump right now. But I'm officially switching my endorsement to Trump 2024. We cannot stand for this. He was removed in Colorado. Pissed me off then. But now it's happening in my home state. This cannot happen. We need a red wave in 2024, and I encourage you to join me. Knocking doors, social media posts, going live on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, whatever you're going to do. Sorry, X. Be as vocal as possible and cause a red wave in 2024. I don't care if you're college, older, if you're in high school, whatever age you are, I don't care. Be vocal. Even if you're not in the state of Maine, I encourage you, join me. Make social media posts, call people, do whatever you can to fight for Trump to be put back on the ballot. And if he isn't, we will write his name in. As far as I'm concerned, Trump 2024. That's all I can say. Trump 2024. Now, for the people that have joined recently, I'm going to read the 14th Amendment again. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States, or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress, or as an officer of the United States, or as a member of any state legislature, or as any executive or judicial office of any state to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, which we've already confirmed that, guess what? It wasn't an armed insurrection. That has been made very clear. Very clear. And like I said, if you still believe that, you are brainwashed. Set yourself free. Do your research. Look into it. You will find it was not the armed insurrection the media told you for 2 years that it was. Shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a vote of 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. Like we already said, Trump didn't do that. So why are radical Democrats, such as Secretary of State Shanna Bellows, abusing their power? Because guess what? Evil is no longer hiding its face. They are unmasked via the power of the Democrat Party. And that power is being abused. We need a red wave in 2024, and it takes your vote. Get up to the ballot box. Quite frankly, vote early. Let's beat the Democrats at their own game. I don't love the idea of early voting, but it's the cards we've been given. Let's beat the Democrats at their own game. It's as simple as that. Let's beat the Democrats in 2024 and show them what freedom and liberty looks like. We will get Trump elected. We will get a Republican Senate and a Republican House. We will make Janet Mills a lame duck governor. Maine will become a fantastic state to live in. We will end Janet Mills' career. Because guess what? Who wants to elect a lame duck? We will make sure that we expose the Democrats' lies. We will win. We will fight against them. And we will make Maine the greatest state to live in the United States. Maine is a fantastic state, and the Democrats are doing everything they can to ruin it. We need to make Maine great again. Like I said, make Maine great again. And the biggest step to that is getting everyone possible active, whether it's face-to-face conversations, social media, phone calls, whatever. Be active and get Trump elected. People, for some reason, can't seem to see through this tyranny. I don't understand why they can't. It's very clear. But Trump did not incite an insurrection. He was at the White House. He wasn't even there. I don't understand how people can't see through this. Let's actually read the statement. I can't remember if it was the Instagram live I did earlier or... Oh my word, now Michael Knowles has commented on it. The libs are really doing this. Are conservatives prepared to wield power in the same way if we ever get the chance again? And then he's got a picture in his tweet. Breaking news. Trump was barred from Maine's primary ballot. The state's top election officials said escalating a national legal effort to disqualify him from office. This is absolutely insane. I do not understand how people can go along with this. So let's see. We've got Michael Knowles has commented on it. Charlie Kirk has commented on it. Twitter account I follow, Bear. I'm guessing he's referring to Maine. Same thing. Let's check it out. Yep, this is absolutely nuts. All right, Benny Johnson, he's another one who commented on it. Let's read the release statement from the Secretary of State. On December 15th, 2023, I held a hearing under 21A, MRS, and 337 on 3 challenges to the nomination petition of Donald Trump for the Republican primary for President of the United States. The first 2 challenges, one filed by Marianne Royal, the Royal Challenge, and one, the Rosen Challenge, filed by Kimberly Rosen, Thomas Sabalio and Ethan Strimling, the Rosen Challenges, contest Mr. Trump's qualifications for office under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. The third challenge, filed by Paul Gordon, the Gordon Challenge, contests Mr. Trump's qualifications under the 22nd Amendment for the reasons set forth below. I conclude that Mr. Trump's primary petition is invalid. Specifically, I find the declaration on his candidate consent form is false because he's not qualified to hold the office of the president under Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Now, we've already read the 14th Amendment. It's quite clear that Trump did not do anything related to what is stated in the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment is a fantastic thing, but it's a fantastic thing that should not be abused. It's as simple as that. Why are Democrats so willing to abuse their power? Now I'm going to go to an area where a lot of people don't like me to. They are willing to abuse their power because they do not have Jesus Christ in their lives. Realistically speaking, you cannot be a Christian while supporting Democrat policies. If they had Christ in their lives, they would not be abusing their power like this. They would be using their power to serve others in a Christ-like loving manner. I said the quiet part out loud. You've heard me going on about how I've switched my endorsement from DeSantis to Trump. I've made it official. But the biggest thing right now is, I said the first thing was you guys getting vocal. No. The first thing is making sure we push Jesus' name and get Christians to be active. If Christians were as active as Democrats are, and we operated with the same urgency that Democrats do, guess what? We would be winning like crazy. Let's go back to, I think it was the first or second gubernatorial debate with Janet Mills and Governor LePage last year. Mills said that she wouldn't expand abortion legislation at all. She said she supported the current Maine law. She could have gotten away with it there, and then said no, she wouldn't change it. All of a sudden, it was back in March or May, she's pushing California levels abortion legislation. Absolutely radical. People said, since we don't have a majority in the House or the Senate, that it was going to be a Democrat win all the way, that Republicans were going to lose it like crazy. Republicans got active for once. The church got active for once. I'm pretty sure over 1,000 people showed up to the State House that day. I think it was around 600, 700 people testified against LD 1619, the abortion legislation that allowed abortion up till birth. Up till birth, people. That's not an exaggeration. We lost the vote by 2 votes. 2 votes. So on paper, we lost. But what that shows me is we didn't lose by 10 miles. We lost by an inch. So if a few more people showed up, guess what? There's a good chance we would have won that. So let's take the momentum that we had with LD 1619 and apply that in November 2024. Let's say Trump's name doesn't get put back on the ballot. We'll write it in. We got to have a red wave. It's as simple as that. And it takes the church getting active. And it takes the church being willing to step in on political issues. We don't have to make our church services mega rallies, but we have to educate our fellowships. It can't be something that, oh my gosh, we have to shy away from all political issues. We just have to spread the gospel. I agree that we have to spread the gospel. It is the good news. It needs to be spread. But if the gospel is the only thing we spread, guess what? People are going to just stay in the milk of their faith their entire lives. We can't have that. You've got to have more than just the gospel being spread. If you have individuals only taking in the gospel, they will not develop their faith. If I go to church as a new Christian, I accept John 3:16. That is awesome. That is the greatest decision I can make in my life. But if you never give me anything else, I will stay stagnant. I will never develop. I will stay in the milk and never get to the meat. I had a fantastic experience during high school going to a Christian school. It was an amazing experience. I loved it. But for those of us that had grown up in the church and had a relatively decent scriptural knowledge, there wasn't a lot of serious development on the issues facing us in today's society. Take abortion, take LGBTQ issues. If I wasn't vested in politics on my own, I would have basically either been in the middle or on the left with those issues. Because I, quite frankly, wouldn't have cared, and I would have just gone with the cultural wind. I would have had John 3:16 at the core and then been a social leftist. We cannot have that. And so what we need to do is, before we even think about fighting this ballot issue with Trump and getting him back on the ballot and winning in November 2024, we need to get the church active. We need to have individuals that are willing to step up, be vocal, and lead. This is something I've noticed. I've been in politics for over a year now. Let's see. Started in September of 22, so year and a half. And I have gotten a lot of support, but it's been vocal support to me, not people saying, hey, what can I do? I appreciate that support, but what would mean more is saying, hey, I support you. I support Jesus more. What can I do? That's what we need. We need people to be vocal. We need people to support each other and be active. You know, it was interesting. I took a buddy of mine door knocking with me during the last election cycle here in Maine. And, you know, it was interesting to see how these people who never would have done it before, but then they do it. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't think I'll ever be in politics full time, but they're happy they did it. They can see they made a difference. And even though we didn't win in 22, look what happened. The people that did get active realize that there's an importance in being active in your community and fighting for truth. Actual truth, not the lies of the media. We need people to be active. And it was awesome to see my fellow brothers from the church step up. It wasn't just Sam, the political guy, going out and doing his job. It was, yes, me, Sam, the political guy, doing his job, but bringing along people to bring true change here in the state of Maine. You know, I was blessed to be able to work down on an election down in Virginia, and the same thing. When you get people that wouldn't have been active before, Then they step up, they go outdoors with you, and they're like, yo, I may not do this full time, but I understand the importance now. They get to talk to people at the doors. Now, that's another cool thing you see. When you bring people, they're always nervous before they knock someone's door. It's like, guys, it's okay. I test it with them. I say, hey, pretend I'm some radical leftist. Ask me a question. I'll run it through with them. Then they're ready. Then they come back to me excited, like, yo, I never would have done this. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me. So I encourage you, do this. Bring your friends. Bring your family. Be vocal. Don't be afraid of being called the conspiracy theorist. Be strategic with how you present your values. Have those awkward conversations. Ask questions. That's an easy thing you could do. You know, it was an interesting thing. When I was down in Virginia, I was in the northern part of the state. And I come from Maine. There's not a lot of ethnic diversity up here. So I was able to go down to this area where it was majority Hispanic and say, hey, fill me in on your culture. Fill me in. I want to know as much as possible. What that did was it broke the ice. It gave a perfect opportunity for me to say, hey, I care about you. I want to know what you care about so we can get that into the Virginia State Senate. I want to know what you care about, what you and the members of your community care about, so you can be better represented. Do that with people. You know what? Let's bring it back to the church for a second. That brings up a point that I should have made. You're going to have a lot of people that have the old-fashioned view that the church can't do anything political. You're going to have people that are scared to comment on political issues. I encourage you. Talk to them and say, why are you uncomfortable covering these issues? Why are you nervous? Seriously, ask them. What's the issue? Be as loving and nice as possible. I'm quite passionate right now, but I wouldn't advise using the tone I'm using now. Be confident, but be lovingly confident. Assert the fact that, yeah, we need to be active, but ask them why. Why aren't we? And if it's an issue of numbers and church attendance, well, maybe those individuals, especially if they're in church leadership, aren't fit to be there. They aren't fit to be in church leadership if that's their response, to be 100% honest. If it's a friend of yours, discuss it with them. Pray about it. Don't shrink down from your position, but pray about it with them. Ask them to pray about their position as well. Now, how do we bring this all together? You've heard me talk about my election work experience. We've talked about Trump and the ballot. We've talked about Maine. I think I actually mentioned it. It's interesting. This is a separate note. Maine being, I think we're the second state to remove Trump from the ballot. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're the second state. And we removed him from the ballot on the exact same day he was put back on the ballot in Colorado. Just rather ironic. How do we bring this all together? The left has college activists and dedicated supporters that step up and do what they're called to do, no matter what. The right, we have a huge base within the church. Need to get them active. Here in Maine, we have a rock solid base, but we need to get them active. We need to present our message in a loving, confident way to reach people. Whether we like to admit it or not, Trump's name is, on the right, a rather uniting name for the majority. Nationally speaking, it can be a polarizing name. What do? You ask people what they care about. Then you mention how voting right can either develop their views, where you agree with them, how you can push that message forward, and how people on the right can better represent them. If you sense the conversation is going well, mention policies from 2016 through 2019, 2020. And then slowly inch in the name Donald Trump. Reality is our nation is polarized when it comes to the former president's name. So be careful with how you present it. Do I advise going to a Democrat household and saying, I support the LGBT community, the Let's Go Brandon community? I don't advise that. Sadly, I think some people would do it. You shouldn't do that. You're going to be polarizing. You're going to hurt the chances of these individuals voting for Mr. Trump. And you're going to up the chances that Biden gets reelected. So be reasonable when you start campaigning. But don't shrink from your positions. So we need to get the church active. We need to get people active. We need to be vocal. We need to cause a red wave in 2024 for Mr. Trump. It's as simple as that. Thank you, guys. I'm going to go live on TikTok now. We're going to make sure we have a red wave in 2024. Do not miss this opportunity to get active and cause the biggest red wave in 2024 that we've ever seen. It didn't happen in 22. Let's fix that. Red wave in 2024. Mr. Trump, the former president, he will be president again, 45 and 47. Donald Trump 2024. Trump 2024. My endorsement, it's been switched. Mr. DeSantis, Mr. Governor, I respect you. You're my favorite governor. But right now, we got to go where we're needed. And when the Lord calls, I go. It's as simple as that. Trump 2024. Don't miss this opportunity to be active, be vocal, and cause true change nationally and in your state. God bless everyone.